Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship, aka a YouTube channel where we love to post clickbait thumbnails about velocity banking. And my favorite thumbnails are the ones where you have the shocked face and you're staring at a bunch of cash, because that's what we're essentially going to do today when we review velocity banking. So, what is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy where you throw all of your money to debt with the help of something called line of credit. And so if I take a look here, right, where do I go? I actually paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. So if you don't know who I am, I just want to mention that to you so that you have that shocked face when I mention it to you and you're just staring at a bunch of cash like I am, right? Clickbait thumbnail. Anyways, all right. So so I'm just some random dude who paid off a mortgage in 2 years and 9 months, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about velocity banking. So, first step to velocity banking is you create a budget because your budget is your debt attack plan. Remember, velocity banking is about eliminating debt. So if you have no debt, that's not what you don't need velocity banking because it's about limiting debt, right? And so what you do is you have your income here, you have your expenses here, and then what you do is you have an expense breakdown and you list every single debt that you have as a line item. And then the last item, you could just kind of combine your expenses right here, which is your gas, food, insurance, things that you know you have to pay for on a month to month basis. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to have the same income, same expenses. Okay. Same income, same expenses. And then we're not going to save money. That's like the first step to this. You see how like this is a big fat zero. A lot of people will be scared to not save money. And then you see right here, $374.35 is going to be our cash flow. But once we move some debt into our line of credit, we're going to increase our cash flow. So if you want to see what this looks like in real life, you see that this is $0 right here. And then your income comes in and then it just goes right out into something called line of credit. So yeah, I don't have any money saved. None at all until all my debt is paid off, right? And so, if you don't know what a line of credit is, all it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again. So this is my home equity line of credit, $373,500. Now let me tell you something. When I got my first home equity line of credit, I think it was like 2022, right? I was like, "Whoa, I'm so excited. First home equity line of credit." It's either late 2021 or early 2022. And then it was like, "Whoa, like I got a $15,000 home equity line of credit," right? And then later on I got a 50,000 and then I got a 280,000 and then I got 373,000. Now that I'm at 373,000, I'm like, "That's it. That's the best you can do," right? Because I'm a credit size queen slash king. Anyways, all right. So yeah, so maybe I don't know, one day I'll get like $1 million line of credit. And again, you go to bank's website, if you have one of these, you click a button and then they'll dump up to $373,500 into your checking account. Okay, they're gonna do that. All right. They'll charge you interest, but they'll definitely do that for you. And so take a look here. These are all the lines of credit that I have. So if we just sum them up, I have over $731,000 in lines of credit. $731,000. And here's the secret to getting all these lines of credit, including personal, business, personal lines of credit, personal credit cards, business credit cards, home equity lines of credit. I got all of them. I got all of them, right? And you see this highlighted here. This is my new personal line of credit that I got last week. And I'm gonna tell you how I got all these lines of credit. And a lot of people don't want to understand the secret, right? Here's the secret. Here's why banks have the tallest buildings in the world. Banks don't lend money to people who need it. And so if you need money and you try to go to a bank, they'll be like, "No, thanks." So get yourself in a position where you don't need money. Just like, if you're driving a car, you want to get the car insurance before you crash, but too many people, they want to get the car insurance after they crash. Okay. So let's go assume that we have a free and clear $170,000, $75,000 home equity line of credit at 8.5%. Now, why free and clear? Well, here's the thing. No one's going to give you a line of credit when you're $374 short and you're making 11 grand of income and you have all this debt. Okay. The reason I talk about this is so that you understand, if you had known this strategy before you got into debt, you would never even get here. For the most part, you wouldn't even get here. Okay. But the main moral of the story is try to make as much as money as you can, and don't get into debt for things that don't generate you a return, right? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So, final step is we put our entire paycheck, the 11 grand, into the line of credit, take the expenses out, and then rinse and repeat over and over again, right? And then I'm gonna just do this. So, uh, for we actually have to move some of the debt into line of credit. So how many credit cards is this? This is 5 credit cards, so it's 5, 8, 15, 27, 30. So what's that in total? That's 85,000. So let's move 85,000 into the line of credit. And then guess what happens here? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? And then if we take a look at this, whoa, we literally went from $374 to $3,201.85. So let's go ahead and do that and put our entire $11,000 into the line of credit, take the 7,000 out, and yeah, making good money, but we need to manage our expenses. All right, so to get the next month's balance, it's the previous month's balance, previous month's interest minus the cash flow. All right, and then we're gonna just do this. And then what we're gonna do is take the average daily balance, multiply by the interest rate, 0.085, and then divide by 12. Divide by 12. All right, and then I'm gonna copy and paste, and then, okay. All right. And then we see that in 30 months, all that credit card debt was paid off. 30 months. And then that's 85K paid off in 30 months. See how simple that was? So a little bit less than 3 years. So I say 2.5, right? Yeah, 2.5. And then let's go ahead and do this. And then it's gonna be 30 months. So 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. And then what's this? We got 2 car loans, right? At 30 months, what's the balance of these car loans and the student loan and the mortgage? And then we use something called the cash flow index to help us rank our debts to pay off. So what we're gonna do is move the lowest ranking ones into the line of credit. I'm gonna sum this up, and that's gonna be 2488286. That's the current balance of these car loans. And then equals plus 24882.86. All right, and then this is going to be 0, 0, and then this is going to be 4 grand in cash flow. All right, so I'm going to do this. We're going to do this, and then this is going to be minus 4083, and then let's see how fast we pay off that car debt. 2 cars, 36 months. So in 3 years, we paid off all our credit card debt and 2 car loans. All right, awesome. So 36 months. So 36 months. This is going to be 85 plus 30 plus 17. And then this is going to be 132K, right? 132K. And then we have the student loan and the mortgage. So let's see what's up with their student loan at 36 months. 36, 36. Okay, we'll move the student loan into the Z line of credit. All right, and Control V. And this is going to be plus 92316.39. And then this one's going to be 0. So now we have 5 grand of cash flow. And then we're going to do this right here. Control V minus 5476.3. All right. $54 months. We paid off the student loan. Sweet. And then we paid off 132 plus 120. That's going to be 252K of debt. And then, okay, at 54 months, right? 54, this is 0. Now we have $432,000 left in our 30-year mortgage. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to necessarily move all loans into a line of credit, okay? You want to look at how much cash flow are you getting and what's the interest rate. So you see this right here. You have to pay $400,000 for $2,000 of cash flow. That's not a lot, relatively, right? And so you got to be careful with that. But luckily, if you do this thing called chunking, where you just kind of move a piece of the loan into the line, it's way more effective than moving the entire loan of a low interest rate to the line. So let's go ahead and do this right here. What's it? 432,441.58. So 432,441.58. And actually, let me just do this. And what is our income? Our income is 11 grand, so 11000, and then we'll do a small chunk of 11, and we paid off in 5.3 years. 5.3 years. All right. So this is now 0, and this is going to be 54 divided by 12 plus 5.3. And then 9.8 years, we are debt free. All right. That's pretty easy. What time are we at? 11 minutes. What a record. I'm getting so fast at this, aren't I? Well, it's what happens when you make over 1,000 velocity banking videos. Take a look here. Yep. And it's been 1 year since I paid off my home. So take that for what you will. Right? So I don't have to do anything. Well, I still got to pay my taxes and insurance, right? Taxes and insurance. How much does that cost me? What, probably $4,000 of taxes and maybe, I don't know, how much do I pay in insurance? I don't even know. 1 to 2 grand of insurance. So I got to pay at least $5,000 a year to live in my home. Okay. So it's not, I'm not, I can't, how do I say this? It's not like I have to pay $2,000 a month like most people do, but 5,000, I still got to pay a little bit. All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. This is Korean Lance Mentorship. Happy July 5th, right? And it seems like a lot of you have been watching the videos in hundreds of views lately. Let's make it go to 1,000, okay? And then we'll make this to 10,000 one day. All right, well, that's it. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.